They trying to cancel Jimmy Kimmel. These Republicans, the right, anti-woke crowd that is all about free speech and the Constitution is canceling Jimmy Kimmel right before our eyes, and it's a very, very, very slippery slope, in my opinion. Jimmy Kimmel was on Jimmy Kimmel Live, his show that he hosts, and he made a joke pertaining to the Charlie Kirk situation, but it wasn't about Charlie Kirk. It was about how dismissive Donald Trump was to Charlie Kirk, right? They asked Donald Trump on the White House lawn, how is he holding up after Charlie Kirk was killed? Donald Trump said, yeah, everything's good. But do you see those trucks over there? Yeah, we about to, remodel the White House, something that hasn't happened in 100 years. And so that's the joke that Jimmy Kimmel made about quote unquote Charlie Kirk. After that episode, he was suspended indefinitely from Jimmy Kimmel Live. Also tonight, Sinclair's, I don't know if you guys know Sinclair Inc., but all your local ABC, CBS, CW, they are under Sinclair's, right? And so they own, it's $1 billion company. Sinclair's, the CEO, put out a statement and says not only does Jimmy Kimmel have to apologize, Jimmy Kimmel has to make a significant donation to Turning Point USA, which is the company that Charlie Kirk founded, and he has to make a donation to Sinclair's as well. This shit is unreal. I never seen nothing like it. Donald Trump also went on his social media website, I forgot what it's called, and he also said that he wants Stephen Colbert out of there, and he wanted 2 other late night people out of there, and he signed it, your president, DT, right? And where the Republicans are, it's a full on attack on free speech, something that they were so against when, the shoe was on the other foot. Wanted to know how y'all felt about this shit. Is this a slippery slope? Where the fuck do we go from here? Because I told y'all last week, they trying to push us closer and closer to Civil War, and this is the goddamn start of it. Go ahead, AK. Then we got Mac. And then
Mac was
whoever else
first.
raise their hand.
Mac was first.
Okay, go ahead. Well, we got ladies over here. It's ladies first. Go ahead, AK.
Okay, I appreciate you. So that's bullshit. That's straight bullshit. There is no way that Jimmy Kimmel should be canceled because of his free speech off of a joke that came from President Trump. And I don't agree with that. A personal, meaningful donation. Oh, you got me fucked up. I have to take out my money. Jimmy Kimmel has said more egregious things, more shocking things. I don't think that this is appropriate.
Yeah, the notion that I have to pay the network and I have to pay Turning Point, I've never heard of no shit like that in my life. Like, what the fuck?
Me either.
Yeah, that's
That's why I'm like, that's bullshit. Yeah, nasty
Go
work.
ahead, Matt.
Oh yeah, I can sum this one up quick. Anytime that anybody I've ever seen where their personality is like their political stance of choice or whatever, and that's like all you see and hear, they believe that shit to the core until they don't, or until something in real life happened the opposite, and now you hear all the excuses and the, oh no, what is it? So when you hear people talking about free speech, they're talking about that in the context of somebody said something I like, and they should be allowed to say it louder. When they start doing this, it's the opposite. They forget about the free speech, and it's, oh, you're kneeling while we're doing this, so no, you don't get free speech and blah, blah, blah. It's the same shit. It's the same shit painted in a different way. So that's how I look at it. These people that are, whenever you see them only talking about politics and that's all their personality is, I run. And I don't care what side it is. I just don't. We're not engaging.
Yeah, these are the.
Or I'm gonna intellectually kill you, and then you won't want to talk to me anymore.
These are the same people who said, keep politics out of football with Colin Kaepernick, and then damn near the whole NFL had a Charlie Kirk tribute this weekend. So it is a lot of double talk, and that's why,
Not
I wanted to talk to Hotep about this, because when we had this conversation about Republican versus Democrats last week, and Rasheem was up here as well, and me and Rasheem are on the side of, we get that both of these motherfuckers is on some fuck shit. We do live in America and where there's a two-party system, but optically, right? Even before we go into, legislation, even before we go into party lines and morality and shit like that, optically, you got this double talk of where it's clearly, we don't fuck with black folks, and we don't fuck with anything that, is going against us, and we're going to hurt your pockets, and we are going to erase you. And so I don't get why anybody would want to align. And so it was very difficult to receive that message from what Hotep was saying last week, because it's like, if you see this type of shit, then turn around and say, well, so what, still go fuck with them. That's difficult for me to receive. Go ahead, Rasheem.
my well, can I say
Hold
something
on,
real
wait, Mac.
quick?
Let's
Real
let Rasheem
quick.
go
You got to
real
get it
quick,
right
because he had his hand up.
okay.
Go ahead, Rasheem.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the word,
What's the
y'all?
word? How you
I'll be
feeling?
quick too. Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. And I will say real quick to the hotel point, because I had to play back that I played back that episode the other day, and I would say I'll shoot him some bail, because I get what he was saying. He was not saying that we should just side with Republicans, but using it as leverage so the Democrats can kind of wake up. But even still, right? Like, even if they were to do that, that's still too much time wasted, right? Because I can't wait another 4 years to just get nothing done. And on top of that, I just don't want to give them more of my time and attention that they don't deserve, right? And I think it kind of ties into this now, to pay back what, you were saying and what Mac was saying and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's all hypocrisy. And, I can't fuck with them hardcore right wingers. I can't really mess with these double-minded people who swear that outright, who swear that, are so holier now and things of that nature. It's all hypocrisy, and I can't really stand it, right? Like, to your point, you know, they only want us to agree with what they want to agree with. And you can't one minute uphold the Constitution, right? And 1 minute talk about things that just doesn't uphold the Constitution, right? Like that Jimmy Kimmel thing really had me tight. Like it'll keep bothering me all night, because I'm saying, like, if he gets canceled for saying something that's so minuscule, then it's like, what direction are we really going in as a nation? You know what I'm saying? If I was Jimmy Kimmel, I'll quit. Ain't no way I'm going to contribute to that turning point or whatever that you want to do. Just get my job back. Ain't no way. So, I gotta stand on something. He made enough money as is. I'm not checking his pockets. I'm sure he made enough money where he gets to stay in and retire or whatnot and go about his life. But yeah, but to wrap up what I'm saying, I hate this whole MAGA movement. I hate what they're trying to stand for. Again, Charlie Kirk's death is sad, but I don't really uphold what he stood for. And if this is what they want us to just do, just kind of agree with them and kind of side down and go with their beliefs, then I think we're going to have a real problem in the next few years.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to, he's in a difficult position, because quitting is doing exactly what they want you to do. We want you out of here, nigga. And so go ahead and quit. That's why, we talked about, I don't think we talked about it. Somebody talked about it, what I heard, as far as when it comes to like contracts. Mark Lamont Hill, we talking about contracts on networks in where they will intentionally lowball you and say, this all we got for you, knowing that you want more money so that your ass to quit. So like, I think that this is just another instance of, we want you to quit. And then even if you don't quit, right, we're still going to make it tough for you. And we're going to make you swallow your pride. And we're going to make you eat crow. And we're going to parade your ass out here as another motherfucker who done told the line. And I think that as a man, right, is a tough space to be in, dog. Because white or black, we got pride. And we got ego. And you didn't put this shit out here, out to the world, and making me, look like a jackass, and either I toe the line or throw my goddamn career away. That's fucked up. Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah, I was just gonna make a quick comment. You had mentioned the NFL teams. I'm gonna need you to rephrase that, because my Baltimore Ravens ain't do no moment for nothing. We ain't do no moment for nothing, and we dropped 42 or 41. We dropped 40. Shit.
Yeah, it was most of them, in which I thought that, the Air Force Two shit, the goddamn NFL, this nigga was a podcaster. Like, I really don't understand it. But, I don't want to get too far in the weeds. I did want to stick to just y'all first thoughts on goddamn Jimmy Kimmel being canceled, having to pay this fee or this fine, and being suspended indefinitely. Go ahead, Pixie. What's the word? How you feeling? Then we got Kev.
What's up? Good afternoon. And I'm feeling good. Except fascism is on the fucking rise and I can't stand it. I fucking can't stand it. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I feel like everybody's acting real scary and doesn't want to call it what it is. I really hate that people don't crack open history books and don't see that this is a repeated thing that has happened in many of times. Maybe it's just because, like, I don't know, like I come from, like, my background, I'm Dominican, so we had a dictator I don't know what, 50, 60 years ago. So I know what a dictatorship looks like. I know what it looks like afterwards. And I know how it basically, to the point that it wasn't until maybe 20 years ago that my country was considered, a third world country because of that. So when I see things like that, especially, something as simple as like, it's a late night talk show. And of course, late night talk shows kind of like, they lean on politics as jokes, right? To kind of go ahead and silence someone, not only silence one, but basically you're saying, you're saying, oh, you're disguising it as, oh, you have to donate to this. No, you're making them pay a fine. You're making them pay a fine to a specific organization that goes along with this political agenda. It's nasty because when BLM was happening and all these things would happen, that wasn't a thing. Nobody has ever said, oh, the NAACP never said, oh, you got to find these people for doing that kind of stuff, for doing these kind of actions. The fact that Charlie Kirk has a whole fucking day dedicated to him because it's his birthday and it's supposed to be a national holiday is disgusting anyway about it. I understand that, he was a human and he was lost and it was done in a very, very disgusting way, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to go ahead and sit here, especially when you're going ahead and there's these ridiculous ass people online putting Martin Luther King, Malcolm X next to Charlie Kirk. Are you on crack? They have to be. It's ridiculous.
And Jesus.
Yeah, they put good old Jesus on there too. Listen, man.
Good old Jesus too, man. Jesus
Nasty.
Christ.
But hold on, wait. Let me read these two comments from J.R. Spliff. He said, hoping someone on stage said this or had said this. This situation, unlike the others it's being compared to, is an actual free speech infringement because the FCC, the government, threatened ABC over Kimmel's comments. Also wanted to read Bella Bundy. She said, I think we should all mind our black-owned business when it comes to Charlie. No need for empathy. He didn't believe in it. I don't think that this is about Charlie, though. This is about the government taking liberties.
Rashad, this is about those people. Say who it is.
The small hats?
Yes.
This is not about the goddamn Jews. Listen, I think that this is a slippery slope because
Small hats is
we're
crazy.
going to be, I mean, if you could do this to Jimmy Kimmel, right, you can do this to anybody. This is not just
For
like,
real, Jimmy Kimmel has been on air for so long, and just this one simple thing over a Charlie Kirk, like my rage about Charlie Kirk comes from why we have him on why does society have him on a pedestal? He said the most egregious things. Why is there a spotlight on him right now? Why is it just another day
because
on Earth? Like,
another
Exactly.
racist
And then
white
I
man.
hate,
But hold on, wait, let
and
me read this from Donald Trump, what he said on his social media shit. He said, great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel's show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers. On fake news NBC, their ratings are horrible. Do it, NBC. So he was calling out Seth Rollins and Jimmy Fallon and basically directing NBC to fire these men because they have a difference in opinion.
You breaking up, Rashad, after
Oh
fire.
my
We don't
bad.
hear you.
He's calling for these networks to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Rollins because they have no. Is it Seth Rollins? Seth Meyers. My bad. Seth Rollins is a wrestler.
The
Yeah,
wrestler.
but he's calling for these networks to fire these two men because they have a difference in opinion. And so that's why I said it's not about black business, because this has a trickle down effect and it will affect us significantly, because our folks probably aren't going to have the notoriety and the fame and the finances and the visibility as a Jimmy Kimmel, right? And where somebody just said, Jimmy Kimmel made a lot of money. Jimmy Kimmel probably made a lot of money, right? But when this trickles down to the black content creator or the black guy that's on, a national television network and first got a job, like when it trickles down to us, that's how we see it. And so I don't think we can just brush it off, and say, that's white people business. I think that's a slippery slope. Go ahead, Kev. What's the word? How you feeling?
Yeah, man. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Another day, got to get to it.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, this is slippery slope for sure, man. With this Jimmy Kimmel situation, to have a difference of opinion, then to get fired from your job for it, then to say donate money to Turning Point USA, who just made like 80 something million like a year ago, or like 2023, something like that. It's just all kind of weird. It's fishy. Like I said, I definitely don't agree with it, but I think Jimmy Kimmel should go to YouTube or some different platform and just take his show elsewhere. He already has a brand. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't give a damn about any big, big corporation in today's time. Even though they're trying to spill over into YouTube and all these smaller platforms and X and all that. But I mean, personally, man, I would just take my brand elsewhere. Your true fans are going to follow. So I mean, I wouldn't care if I was Jimmy Kimmel. I wouldn't donate no money. I would shake and build my own shit.
Yeah, from a selfish point of
That's
view,
smart.
I
I
can
didn't think
understand
about
that.
that.
But it whether Jimmy Kimmel take his ball and go home or not, they are setting the groundwork for toe the goddamn line or you out of here. And so the more people who have I think selfish is not the right word, because I don't think he's selfish, or people who want to, start their own network. I don't think that it's selfish, but the more people who have that individualistic mindset of, fuck you, I'm gonna just do my own shit. That is just going to leave more space for them to get the people that they actually want in there. And then once they're in, they're in. We see what happened with the
But people not gonna
goddamn
listen to him though.
Supreme Court. Once these motherfuckers is in, they're in. And we're seeing this in the political sphere more and more, and where we gonna put you in compromising situations and where you're going to have to make a decision, and then either way we gonna win. And so that's what, and I seen Shannon and Ocho, they were having a conversation about it last night because both of them were surprised. But with Shannon, he said, our generation, we don't look at it as serious because we've always had freedoms and we've always had rights, right? So them quote unquote taking it away ain't that serious, but the generations before us, when they didn't have it and then they finally got it, the thought or the action of taking it away really meant something. To us, we just be like, all right, whatever. And we see that a lot in a lot of different situations, and where I don't think we should be viewing it like that, because there was a point in where we couldn't do this shit.
Mm, I mean, I don't, I guess, please get out and vote, next election, but we got 3 more years of that.
Rock the vote.
Um,
Participate in your local elections as well. They're going on right now.
yes, I mean, do that, but I,
I would like to know who was on that island before I
Hold
start
on. Wait,
saying
let her
who I
go.
want to
Let her
vote
go. Go
for.
ahead, Kenya.
I just, I don't, it's like, I really wonder, like, honestly, what can be done? Because yes, I mean, we could say vote, 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 but I mean, the people voted for this. So it's like, mm, what can you really do if this seems to be the change the people want to see?
It
Like,
seems as if
sadly enough.
Honestly, Kenya, it seems as if this situation with Charlie Kirk is putting white power back in power in their own way. They want to uh, go with their agenda that's
Fake
already
power.
there.
Yeah, I think, and then we're gonna
Fake
get to
power. They ain't
Pixie.
got it.
I
I
mean,
think that
it's right. I agree, but I mean, the slogan was literally "Make America Great Again."
Right.
yeah, they put us. This situation has obviously re-energized, reinvigorated the right. Right, these niggas are galvanized behind this situation. They have made him a martyr. They are putting him on shit like, laughing at it or not, but they're really putting this nigga on shirts and digital goddamn ads with Martin Luther King and Jesus and goddamn Gandhi and Malcolm X. Like, this is their, Malcolm X moment. This is their Martin Luther King moment. And they are
Mm.
galvanized. And if there isn't anything to combat that from the opposing political party, we are down a long road. Because I do think that Trump is setting foundation gradually because, believe it or not, the nigga got 3 more years. And so the more and more that these things happen, if y'all believe Trump not gonna try to finagle a way to get a third term, I don't know what to tell you. And that's why I think we can't just sit on our hands and act like, this shit ain't none of our business. This nigga's gonna try to get a third term. And once you open that door, you can't go back from it. Go ahead, Pixie.
So Kenya, I want to go ahead, not like to get at you or anything like that, because it's not. I just want to correct the word. We didn't vote for him. There is concrete evidence that is actually being pursued that Rhode Island, for example, specifically Rhode Island, had basically the votes were basically messed with. And that is something that's being lobbied actively.
There's 5
Actively.
people in Rhode Island, Pixie.
No, but that doesn't matter. The fact that it is, if it shows any kind of proof of tampering, it literally goes ahead and defunks the entire thing. So that, I just want to clarify that. We did not go ahead and do that. There's also, he has blatantly said it along with Elon in much less words, like about how he has finessed or how he finessed it. So that is something I want to clarify. I really don't want to go ahead and pin, especially within our country, the fact is like, oh, well, we didn't, people voted for him, this, that, and the third, when in reality, it's, these big conglomerates that really went ahead and stuck their fingers where they weren't supposed to stick their fingers in. And it's ridiculous. And they, they do it in convoluted ways with super PACs and all that kind of stuff. I know I'm getting a little political here, but they just, in general, that's something that they do, but they specifically said it on record many of times. And then on top of that, they also, there's something that's being lobbied and it's being pushed for. So I wanted to clarify that. I just think also it's just sincerely unconstitutional. And I feel like if you are a true American and you truly do believe in what the Constitution and what it is to be an American, you should be absolutely repulsed by this. No matter what, no matter if it's black, white, whatever the case is, you should be repulsed by this. You should care about this. I find it repulsing when people don't care enough about these things because it affects everyone. It's disgusting. I know what fascism brings and it's disgusting. And it's a slow roll, like Rashad was saying. It's been a slow roll for some time now, but it's definitely, it's happening. And people are just allowing it to happen. Somebody in the comments said, what are ways that we can go ahead and stop this? I'll plug the video that I found on TikTok or whatever, which is supporting, bigger corporations that support DEI hires. That is a good way. There's other ways, to go about it, not going ahead, making sure that our money is collected where we can collect it. That is a good way. There's also grassroots campaigns that are actively working on this. Of course, voting like, the people on stage have mentioned in your local, communities, that helps as well. But, to go further than that, those are ways.
Real, what's the word? How you feeling today? Right, watch Real with the delay.
There go Rashad clocking my shit, man. Damn.
What's the word, fam? You alright?
I'm alright, man. Rashad, you know what I know about you, Rashad? You let a nigga come up here and talk 10 minutes, but he only got 5 seconds to get on the mic and talking shit, though.
Hey, that's a good observation.
Nigga come here and talk all day. He just got to do it in 10 seconds, please. Nah, I'm alright, man. I think I agree with everybody, man. Y'all all right, man. This shit dangerous, man. This shit dangerous, man. You got to be able to say what you got to say, man. You know what I'm saying? Comparing him to any of our greats, our ancestors is egregious. It's a disrespectful. It's distasteful. I don't want to see that shit. But to be honest, I don't be in white people's business though. This really ain't none of my business. Like, white person got popped. I don't be having white sympathy. So it's like, I don't have no white sympathy. Whatever happens, y'all, hey man, hey, look,
But
we alright.
what happens when it starts affecting black people?
Then I have to whoop your ass and I have to hold us accountable. And that's the thing. We have to hold this is why the village is important. So we can hold each other accountable and somebody like you can let me know like, yo, man, ain't no bullshit over there. And I be on point and let my people know like, all right, look, they over there doing this, that, and the third. We got to gear up and, ramp ourselves up and do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? We have to mind our business, Rashad. We have so much to figure out with ourselves. White people are going to white people, bro. They're going to do
But
that. You know,
wouldn't it be most beneficial, right? Um, Black, white, or indifferent,
I'm,
if I see these niggas driving into a big ass pothole in the road, I'm gonna take notes and make sure that I do what's necessary to not to make that same mistake,
of
right?
course.
And so with this, it's a situation of it don't matter necessarily that it is Jimmy Kimmel. I think that the story is big because of who he is and his stature in late night TV. But outside of that, there is an attack on our liberties and freedoms based on political ideology.
Yeah, but
And
Rashad's
so that
always
is
been like that.
inherently going to affect us because we play a big part and we have big voices as well in the political sphere, in the entertainment sphere, right?
Yo,
And just speaking in general. So what happens when they say, you know what? Get Joe Budden off Patreon. And nigga said something about Charlie Kirk. And then
Rashad,
Patreon delete his account.
they've been
Right. So
doing this,
like what
Rashad.
happens when those that now niggas want to jump to in
I will riot for
do
him.
something proact I mean
I will
reactively.
come out into the streets if they do that.
Yeah,
Rashad,
but
they've
like
been
that would
doing
be a
this,
situation
Rashad.
now that happens now you want to react instead of being proactive.
Rashad, we never had equality,
Speak Joe
sir.
Budden on air.
You see what we never had equality, so I mean, this stuff been happening. It's just happening to him. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's happening to a white person, and then we all up in this been happening to us. Everything that happens to everybody else already been happening to us. So it's like, we've been telling you all this. That's why we always on the right side of history. We already knew this. This is why they can put him next to a Martin and Malcolm. We've been seeing somebody get popped in front of everybody. This been happening this ain't nothing new, bro. So we just have to be more on point, more on guard. We have to this is why it's important for us to work economically. That's what Hotep be saying. It's important for us to stick together, have our own shit, working towards that. And if we can't work towards having our own shit, the least we can do is work towards unity. We have to work towards sticking together, sticking with our grassroots leaders, sticking with the podcast like this. You know what I'm saying? Like Kev on stage had a streaming platform. He just talked about why it failed and the lack of support and things like that. We have to support each other. We already know what they're going to do to us. If we rise up to a certain level, they're going to chop us down at the knees. We already know this historically. So the best thing for us to do is mind our business and stick together, unify as much as possible so we can create our own platforms and have our own economic independence. That's what Hotep be saying. We need our own shit because this been happening. It's gonna happen again another 5 to 10 years. Man, ain't nothing new under the sun, man. That's it.
Listen, hey, I agree. Support the content creators. Patreon is in the jumbo. Support the content creators and their platforms. Patreon is in the jumbo. Go ahead, Pixie D Kev.
Rel, I get where your point is regarding putting our money where our mouth is, basically. I 100% agree with that. But to say that something like, for example, Kimmel being silenced and the way he is not our business, it's beyond it. Like, you got to think broader than that. That's like, Rashad's point was like, if I see a pothole on the road and I see somebody about to do it, regardless if he was a jackass to me and put the middle finger, at me, like, 2 miles away, 2 miles behind, I'm still going to go ahead and be like, hey, yo, you know what I mean? Because it's going to cause a pileup.
Nah.
And then I don't want to go ahead and see a slow motion accident. That's literally, what like Rashad was more or less leaning to. So I understand your point of view in that aspect of wanting us to go ahead and create and uplift our communities 1,000%, but it's bigger than that. And we have to understand that it's the fact that as Americans specifically, our Constitution has been threatened and is consistently currently being threatened. It is actively being threatened. And that's something that we
But
should
wait,
care
Dixie,
about.
when wasn't it ever being threatened though? We as black people, we've been fighting to vote. You see
Absolutely,
what I'm
but
saying? So
just
it's like,
because as minorities, just because just us as minorities, we're seeing it all happen as a larger scale,
mm-hmm.
right? That doesn't mean that we should not focus on it happening currently, because when Martin Luther King was doing what he was doing, he wasn't just doing it for black people. Of course, he was doing it for black people as the front, first in the front,
Mm-hmm.
but he was doing it as a collective. Malcolm was doing it, yes, of course, black people to the front,
Mm-hmm.
but he was doing it for the collective. That's the thing. Like that's something that has to be recognized. The fact that when we go ahead and think so much smaller, we have to understand that we live in a society that is large and we have to look at it in a larger scale. That's the problem. A lot of people think about individualism, and I see people in the comments going ahead and saying that, like, oh, wow, well, it's, you guys are talking about, this that happened in 2024, but what about in 2020 when he went ahead and lost? I said super PACs have been allowed for years, decades in elections, and that is on both sides. It's a bipartisan issue. Please do not insult my intelligence. I know what I'm talking about. So my point is, it is a bipartisan issue that the way that politics has worked throughout the entire years, of course, they're trying to stifle everybody. They're trying to stifle the small people, which is us. Us specifically, but in general, the people who don't have that
And
kind
I
of
think
money.
that the
That's just the
the
bottom line.
reasoning for the First Amendment was specifically to defend against government overreach and overstep, to the likes of going to your goddamn Twitter and as the president and telling networks to fire people. And so when you infringe upon the constitutional rights so blatantly and nobody is batting an eye, or the attitude is, it's like, no, it's not that. I ain't gonna hold you. Go ahead. Hold on,
Rashad,
wait, let's get the,
Rashad, really quickly, to add to your point, did you see who went ahead and took over TikTok just recently?
nah, I didn't.
So it basically was owned basically by I think it's by ByteDance or something like that. It's no longer owned by the previous owners of like China. They finally went ahead and came to some kind of agreement. Long story less long, there's going to be further censoring. And, essentially, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but like, just to say it hyperbolically, they gave it to the CIA, essentially. And so then the next thing, like you mentioned, then we're going to get censored in social media. They're already doing it in bigger media. We're going to be next. And that is a root. That is number one thing of fascism, is basically silencing people.
Go ahead, Kev, then Mac, then Levita.
Mac can go ahead.
I appreciate you. I'll just make it quick. First of all, I can appreciate like all of the things we're talking about and like the actions and the intentionality behind it. But when we talk about specifically voting, which a few people have mentioned, personally, I would like to know who was on that island and what babies they touched before I put my name on any ballot.
We going down a rabbit hole. We understand y'all want to know the
Yeah, I
Epstein
just had to
files.
put that out there
Go
though.
ahead, go ahead, Levita.
Hey Rashad, long
How
time
you
no
feeling today?
see.
What's the
How
word?
you doing, my Virgo brother?
All good. Fist in the air for the September Virgos, not
I
them
know
other
that's
niggas.
right. Even though Virgo men are trash, but yes, fist in the air. Yes. All right. So I think it's really interesting because people are saying things like it is not our business. Not our business. Sorry, the delivery man came. Sorry. It's not our business. This is white people's business. And what I will say is, if you kind of look at the media, if you're watching this through the lens of the media, you will think that, oh, this is something that's happening to white people. Now white people are starting to see that their rights can also be infringed upon. Freedom of speech is not necessarily, because as someone said earlier, Black people have often in this country experienced limitations in the political sector. So the things that they say are inalienable rights as citizens of the U.S., Black people can argue that we often have lived under the guise that we are not entitled to those same inalienable rights, right? Okay, so beyond that though, what people would lead you to believe is, yes, you have to separate us. And the truth is we're more alike than we are different. So this is, meant to drive all kind of division between us. It's going to be Black against white, Dems against Republicans, lefts against rights. And ultimately, what is it all for? Right? This is an issue. I exist in this country called United States, and I have been working since I was a teenager. So from that guise alone, I put in on this business. I have rights here. I have rights. And the fact of the matter is, whether you're Black or white, these rights are being infringed upon, and we should be concerned. This is bigger than them just trying to drive left against right. They are trying to incite a race war, literally. Making America great again is far beyond just a political statement. There is a level of hierarchy, socio hierarchy, that they want to exist, that they feel threatened is being lost in this country. Whether it's because of population or because of the way that we think, whatever it is, white people, and there's a specific sector of white people who are very much concerned and threatened. And they are moving in a way that should have us all